Hello everybody, good afternoon, welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United versus Copenhagen Champions League preview, and what a game it is going to be. We absolutely have to win this game. There is no two ways about it. And let's put a little reminder on this. For anybody that thinks it's going to be an easy game, we're not playing particularly well at the moment. Even I can acknowledge that. And when we played Copenhagen at Old Trafford, we needed a Harry Maguire goal and a last-minute Onana penalty save. It was close. It was closer than close. It was closer than you ever can imagine. It's close. It was close. And therefore, we've either got to step up massively or this game's going to be close as well. That's my predicted 11. We'll get into that in a moment. There's some big choices to be made. Does Reguilon come back in and Delo miss out? Does Varane come in and Johnny Evans miss out? Does Mason Mount come in? Does Marcus Rashford come in for Garnacho? Rashford back in training today. So lots and lots and lots to discuss. But the first thing I think we really need to talk about is the connotations of what could happen if Manchester United didn't, well, not even if they didn't, but what if Manchester United, what do Manchester United need to do? And there is no two ways about it. We have to win. Currently at the top of the group, you've got Bayern Munich with 9. They're going to qualify. They've got 3 from 3. They play Galatasaray, and obviously Galatasaray have got 4 points. We've got 3, and Copenhagen have got 1. Have to win. 6 should put us into second place. Hopefully 2 points ahead of Galatasaray if Bayern Munich do their job. We've then got Galatasaray and Bayern Munich to play. We would have to not get beat by Galatasaray. Realistically, even if we beat Copenhagen tomorrow, we've got to then go to Turkey and probably not get beaten to just give us a chance in that last game against Bayern Munich at Old Trafford. The way I think it's going to work is I think we beat Copenhagen tomorrow, puts us on 6 points. Galatasaray lose, they stay on 4 points. We draw with Galatasaray, puts us on 7, puts them on to 5. But then if they beat Copenhagen and we lose to Bayern, we're out into 3rd place. So I think we might need to win tomorrow and against Galatasaray. And then if we do that, I think we'll be in a position on 9 points where they can't catch us anyway. So the next two, the Bayern Munich game could be nil and void. We'd be top and second. But we've got to win this, and we've got to win in Turkey. And that's our next 3 games. That's our next 3 games. We've got Copenhagen tomorrow away, Galatasaray away, and then Bayern Munich. Hi Mark, I saw the video with Ben. I hope you get the foot sorted. Otherwise, I'd just like to say I really respect how you back your employees. It says Liam. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. Have you seen the rumours regarding Juventus being interested in Sancho, says Cheese? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's stick with the preview for the moment. So I think that I expect, very hard to predict, but I expect to see a similar game to Fulham, a similar game to Sheffield United away, Burnley away. I don't think we're going to blow Copenhagen away. I'd love to see, and look, at some points I think it will happen, but I'm not expecting or demanding it tomorrow. I don't think we're at that point where United just go and breeze past the team 3 or 4-0. I'd love to see a couple of goals from Højlund and Rashford and a real confidence booster, and then let's smash Luton going into the international break. I don't think we'll necessarily see that. I think we're still very much a team that's on thin ice. You know, there's still a lot of bubbling pressure around Ten Hag. We need to alleviate that, and the best way to do that is win. Because if we lose tomorrow or we draw tomorrow, we are staring down the barrel of Champions League exit, whether it's Europa League or out completely. So we have to win. And I think if you're going to win, you've got to go as strong as you can. Luton at home on Saturday is the easier game. It's at Old Trafford, and Luton really should be being beaten. It'll be hard, but we should win that. This game is massive. This is about Champions League. We have to win. So he's got to go strong. You can't really be going into this game and going, do I play Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire? You pick Rafael Varane. Rafael Varane's won 3 Champions Leagues. You pick Rafael Varane. You could put Delo at left back, but Reguilon's a natural left back. So you pick Reguilon, and you create your strongest back 4 that you can. And for me, that's Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Maguire, and Reguilon at the moment. That's the best he can pick, and that's what you do. Midfield, I think he will go with some continuity. I think he'll want Scott McTominay in there because of his physicality. I think he'll want Eriksen in there because of his passing ability, and he won't obviously want to put Bruno on the wing, hopefully. So I think he'll stick with the same midfield 3, which is risky because Fulham did get at our midfield, and I don't think we won the midfield battle at the weekend, but I think that's what he will go with. You're going to get in any Twitter beef again, says KB. I don't do Twitter beef. Bayern struggled to win in Copenhagen, just saying, says Carlos. I think it's going to be a difficult game. And then the front 3 is really interesting because you look at those 2 wingers, and I think a lot of people will be saying, hold on a minute. We had a poll this morning over 80% want Garnacho to play over Rashford. If I did the same for Antony, it would be the same for Pellistri. There is a big, big case here to say that Garnacho and Pellistri should be starting. I thought Pellistri's cameo at the weekend won us the game, and you need to reward that. I also think Garnacho has started 2 games, and if we're going to back this player, you need to keep picking him. You know, there's no point in having a player that's talented and not giving them a run out. But I think he will go with Rashford and Antony. And I'm okay with that. I know some of you won't be. I know some of you will be. I'm okay with it because we've got to win this game. And Antony is a player that Ten Hag has spent 80 million euros on and wants him to deliver. And this is a game where we need to deliver. And if he scores in a game like this, or he plays well in a game like this, it gets remembered and it can be a confidence boost. Marcus Rashford is on 350k a week. He's the star player. He's Ten Hag's star player, and you have favourites, and that's absolutely fine. And I think Rashford will start. So I think his front 3 will be Rashford, Højlund, and Antony. But they've got to deliver. They've got to deliver. There's no two ways about it, and not pressure deliver. You have to deliver. You're wearing a Man United shirt. It's a difficult game, and we have to win. So I think he will go. I'm pretty confident that that will be his starting 11. It's very difficult with Ten Hag. What are your thoughts if that's the team? Some people are saying, well, what about Mason Mount? I will do a poll for Antony Pellistri because we did do the Rashford Garnacho one this morning. But I'm relatively happy with that team. I mean, there are differences. If I'm being honest, if I could... Look, if that's the team and Ten Hag rings me up and says you can only make one change... The change I would make would be Pellistri where McTominay is an Amrabat. I'd just like to have a proper holding midfielder in. I'd make that change before Antony for Pellistri or anybody else. So that's the change I would make. But there's a lot of people in the chat saying we should be playing Pellistri and Garnacho. I don't think he trusts them. If I'm being absolutely honest, I don't think he trusts them. And a lot of people have been talking about Kobe Mainoo, but Kobe Mainoo's going to play for the youth, the under 23s or whatever they call it at this level tomorrow. He won't even be on the bench. So I think Ten Hag has gone into trust mode, as Ben Foster would call it. He's gone into trust mode. He is picking the players that he feels have the experience and trust. And therefore, I don't think he trusts Pellistri. I don't think he trusts Garnacho more than he trusts Antony and Rashford. Trust isn't necessarily about ability. Trust isn't necessarily about form. Trust can be about experience, having played in these sort of games more. And trust can be about favouritism. Of course it can. Preference. So look, I think sometimes people think when we say trust, he means form and potential and fairness. Trust can mean all sorts. You can trust somebody for many different reasons. You can trust somebody with £1,000 because you know they're tight and 500 quid of it's theirs. You know, you can trust people for lots of different reasons. And I think Ten Hag will trust this team. And I think that's why he will go with it. And I think we will win. My prediction is probably 1 or 2-0. I think Copenhagen, from what I saw at Old Trafford, they remind me of a lot of European teams that we've played over the years, that they're fairly decent at passing the ball, but they almost have a nosebleed when they get near the goal. They're not. We've played a lot of teams. A lot of the Spanish teams were like this. They're good technical teams, but they're not really killer instinct teams. So I don't see there being lots of goals. And I think that if we can keep a clean sheet, then we can win the game. And I think this is why Varane's got to play. You know, he is a quality European centre-back. And this is a European game. And you want to be using people like Varane. And Maguire's playing well at the moment. So I think go Varane and Maguire. And I think we keep the clean sheet. And then you just need that moment, whether it's Højlund. I mean, I'd love Højlund to score. I think he's done so much hard work. I'd love Højlund to score. But at the end of the day, it would be great to see Rashford score or Antony score for that, you know, because Ten Hag's going to keep picking him. So we need him to score. Maybe it'll be Bruno. Maybe it'll be Scooby-Doo. But I fancy Manchester United to win it. Interestingly, much the same this morning. Garnacho or Rashford, massive vote for in favour of Garnacho. Antony or Pellistri, massive vote in the favour of Pellistri. I mean, there's not. I actually think there's more chance of Pellistri starting than there is of Garnacho. I think Rashford 100% will start. He trained today, by the way, so he is fit. I think Garnacho will be on the bench and Rashford will start. I think there's more chance that Pellistri starts because he has started Pellistri before. He started him in Munich. So he may well start Pellistri, and I think he certainly deserves that as well. So look, he might start, but you never know. I mean, look, he might put Bruno on the wing. He might not. He might not. He might not. He might put Mount at 10 and put Bruno on the wing again. You don't know. But look, what are your thoughts? I think we will beat Copenhagen, and we have to. We have to. There's literally no two ways about it. We can't afford to draw. We can't afford to lose, certainly. We have to win. And then we have to hope that Bayern Munich beat Galatasaray. And then we're going to have to go to Turkey after the international break and hope that we win there, which is not necessarily easy. And I was looking at this today just to give you a feed of what's to come, because we all know we've got Copenhagen tomorrow night, and then we've got Luton on Saturday. But straight after the international break, Everton away. I draw your attention to this. Straight after the international break, Everton away on a Sunday late kickoff, which I do not like. And then on the Wednesday, we're playing in Turkey at 5:45. It's a bad week. You know, I don't want to give the Ten Hag outers any ammo, but the Ten Hag inners like me look at Copenhagen and Luton and go, we should be safe for a few weeks. I look after the international break and I go, Everton away, Galatasaray away, and then Newcastle away. That is a hell of a week. And then we've got Chelsea at home. So it's a hell of a week and a half, that. But that first 3 games after the international break, Everton away, Galatasaray away, Newcastle away. I mean, if those 3 games go well, you're in a really good position. We're going to go through in the Champions League, and we've got another 6 points in the Prem. You lose a couple of those games, and especially the Galatasaray one, and we're in big, big trouble. And they're going to have to very much build on the mentality and cohesion and work of Fulham, because Galatasaray will be massive. And I know Copenhagen got a draw there, but Man United in Galatasaray, I remember those games from the 90s. I remember, you know, Cantona, and it was horrible. And you can't recreate that because they felt like the fans were on the pitch and they were, you know, I remember going down the tunnel and stuff. But it will be a very, very difficult atmosphere for Manchester United. Oscar, thank you very much for your super chat. Really, really appreciate that. I would play Garnacho and Pellistri and keep Rashford and Anthony as an impact player, says Chris. Josh has just gifted 20 memberships. You're an absolute legend, mate. I'll play Mount, Bruno and Amrabat, says Ortega. And Anthony should have the aggression for this game, but Pellistri is okay by me to start and the other as a sub or vice versa, says Chun. Have you ever said why would you change a winning team? Well, this is a great point. Why would you change a winning team? But I just think I would change a winning team, specifically the back four. I think Dalot, Evans, Maguire and Wan-Bissaka in a game you've got to win away from home compared to Reguilon, Maguire, Varane and Wan-Bissaka, you can see the difference in quality. I'm not opposed to sticking with a winning team, and if he does that, you can't really argue with it. But it's a risk. It's an unnecessary risk because Reguilon is a natural left-footed left-back. Dalot isn't, and Varane is better than Evans. So I just think when you've got that knowledge, why risk it? But he may well stick with the winning team. You know, he might do, but it's too big a game for us to go and do that. And I think you've got to go hard. You've got to go hard. Pardon the pun, but you have. Just a bit of an update. Kobe Mainoo was training with the Man United under-19s and will play for them on Wednesday afternoon as he is eased back into action following his ankle injury, so he will not be involved. Marcus Rashford was present in training today. If he gets a goal tomorrow, I'm taking an assist. United Stand community, we're getting an assist. I mean, it was ridiculous, that tweet yesterday, but we'll take it on the chin if Rashford starts scoring. But I want assist points on FPL. Don't hate, it's a joke, we spoke a bit this morning about the Sir Jim Ratcliffe progression. Look, all I'm going to say about Sir Jim Ratcliffe is that this is going to happen, whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, it's going to happen. So if it's going to happen, I still think there's people out there that are hoping that at some point this Sir Jim deal falls through and Sheikh Jassim and Qatar come in and buy the whole club. And it would have been an interesting, look, let me be blunt, it would have been my preferred choice. I'm not going to mess about. I'm not going to pretend it wasn't my preferred choice. It would have been my preferred choice. And it's always Look, it's bad enough when I'm eating my dinner and I know there's a slice of Viennetta in the freezer and then I go and get it and somebody's ate it. You know, it's bad enough thinking something's there and it's been taken away. But that's Viennetta ice cream. This is Manchester United's future. It will always be massively frustrating because of how this has been orchestrated publicly to know that there was... I mean, it hurts saying it, but it will always be frustrating to me to know that there was this offer there that would have cleared the debt, built an amazing stadium and pumped billions in. Because I think that's the only way out for United. And it's not Qatar or Sheikh Jassim. It was anybody that offered that. So it's always going to be very difficult to know that it was there and the Glazers didn't take it. It's one thing to sit fantasizing about if you could solve United's problems, what would you do? But to know it was there, because that represented everything I think that United needs to do to be successful. And to know it was there and we didn't take it is always going to be very, very difficult. But maybe there's another way that we haven't seen. So look, I'm not expecting anything other than Sir Jim's 25%. I'm eager to know what the plan is, because I don't know whether... And my theory is this. I think they announced it a few weeks ago on purpose to get people to get used to it. And then they'll announce it properly a little bit later. Because if they'd announced it, everything together a few weeks ago, I think there would have been outrage. There may have been protests. There may have been all sorts. But I think if you announce it through the media, let people get used to it, and then announce it properly, it sort of puts some fires out, really, if you know what I mean. And I think that's what they're doing. They're timing this as close to perfection as they can to manage the disappointment and manage the frustration. But I actually think it's going to happen, of course, and it needs to happen now. I don't want to be part of a PR campaign. I don't want to be part of spin. I don't want to be part of they're phasing it in to, you know, keep the fans at a lower temperature. We need this to happen yesterday. We need the director of football. We need the CEO. We need the infrastructure. We need to get working now. So I'm at that point now where I've accepted what's going to happen. I don't really want it to happen, but I'm real. We've lost what we wanted to happen. It's going to be very frustrating if we go into more years of failure, knowing that we had an opportunity, but we've got to get on with it now. We've got to get on with it. That's life, isn't it? That's life. Mark, are you a pundit, a journalist, or an influencer? Says KFJ. Oh, I don't know. Do you want to answer that? 86% of you would have gone with Pellistri. Let's run a poll. Who am I? Who am I? Pundit. Influencer. What was the other one? YouTuber. I think it was. I mean, I think influencer and YouTuber are probably the same. What a massive shout out to Josh for giving 20 memberships as well. I think is where the Sancho situation started. Anthony. Influencer probably the most. Cooking with Goldbridge will be back. Pratt, you should have added that, says Gaza. And there we go. Just getting rid of some of these idiots in the chat who support players over the club. I think we know what we need. Oh, he said journalist. I'm not a journalist. I haven't been to uni and got me blue tick, so you know I don't want to be a journalist. Score predictions for tomorrow. Yeah, I'll go 1-0 United. I'll be very happy with that as well. It's about winning the game, isn't it? Just in relation to the press conference, we normally would have a press conference at around this time. It's going to be other way round tonight. So 8 o'clock tonight, I'll be live as normal for the 8 o'clock show, but I'll give you Ten Hag's press conference reaction quotes. Christian Eriksen's going to be sat with him, so is that an indicator that Eriksen will start? That's the predicted 11. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are with that. Mark, I'm in Copenhagen. I'm going to the game tomorrow. That stadium and fans are special. It's going to be tough, says Marcus. Interesting. I don't know. Also, I'm doing a watch along for Newcastle against Dortmund tonight on the That's Football channel. Really, really interesting group there. If Dortmund beat Newcastle, they don't quite put them out, but really do put them in trouble and in relation to getting to that group. So if you're interested in watching that, that's great. Also in the video description is the podcast. Give it a listen. I'm very happy with the comments we're getting on the podcast about the new jingle, our first jingle for Pratt of the Week. La, 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 la. You've got to listen to it. You've got to listen to the podcast. It's probably the best jingle I've heard since sliced bread. It's absolutely brilliant. I would start Garnacho and Palestri. Rashford and Antony don't deserve it. Hopefully there isn't more controversial VAR. United to win. Well, VAR tends to work better in Europe, doesn't it? Because they've got better tech. Right, I'm back at 8 o'clock. I'm on That's Football at just before 6. And, of course, if you want to listen to the best jingle there's ever been, links in the video description. Listen to the podcast. I'll speak to you all a bit later. Legends, hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning in live. Get your comments in below if you're not live about that starting 11, what changes you'd make. I'll speak to you all in a bit.